Local 15 News continues to investigate spending at the 911 Center in Mobile County. A massive communications overhaul, a deal worth $40 million of your tax money, is currently being installed in the county. The deal is with communications company Harris, which was the lone bidder for the project. In tonight's reality check, Local 15's Andrea Ramey questions if the bid for the work was properly conducted. Andrea?
Well, Greg, board members have called this deal, quote, barely legal. And now this document that I've obtained shows another company told 911 it could have saved taxpayers millions on this project, but it didn't get a chance to bid. A letter obtained by Local 15 News shows Motorola wrote 911 Director Gary Tanner in August of 2013, saying it would like to bid on the district's communication project. Motorola Vice President Randy Johnson requested a 60-day extension on the bid due to, quote, the complexity of the project. He later pointed out how his company saved Las Vegas $16 million when that city switched from Harris radios to Motorola. Why not at that point just kind of hit the brakes?
Well, they had an opportunity to bid and did not act on the ad that was legally presented.
The contract was advertised for 2 weeks, which is nowhere close to an adequate time for any other company to get a bid in.
Board member and Citronelle Police Chief Shane Stringer, who just came on the board 7 months ago, now believes a deal was reached with Harris before a bid ever went out. A price summary obtained by Local 15 News shows Harris submitted pricing for the project June 12, 2013. The project wasn't open for bid until August. Stringer also says Harris was moving equipment for the project to its local rep, Hurricane Electronics, prior to the bid going out.
This contract was signed in September of 2013. We know for a fact that the radios were delivered to Hurricane a month or two prior to that date.
Harris decided to move those radios into Mobile, feeling very confident they were going to get the contract. Okay. They were not paid for.
Tanner says 911 had a deadline to spend funds and had already been working with Harris when attorneys advised the project needed to have a competitive bid.
We put the contract out for bid. It was a short fuse, but met all requirements. It's kind of like almost speeding. If you're doing 70, you ain't breaking the law.
That's suspicious. Any person in their right mind would be asking, what's going on here? What's really going on here?
And that was board member and Metro Jail Warden Trey Oliver. He led the charge at the last meeting, asking for an independent review of this $40 million deal, which is currently underway. 2 retired FBI agents, an IRS agent, a private investigator, and a retired CPA who worked at the public examiner's office are all now looking at how this project has been managed thus far. Reporting live in the newsroom tonight, Andrea Ramey, Local 15 News.
Tonight, work on an emergency communications contract worth $40 million of your tax dollars has come to an abrupt stop.
Yeah, Local 15 News has exposed several issues with the deal in recent weeks, including how equipment was shipped to Mobile and pricing for the project was submitted months before the bid even went out.
Local 15's Andrea Ramey has been leading this investigation and explains why 911 board members decided to stop work today.
Well, Kim, board members hit the brakes because there are some serious concerns here of waste and now possibly even legal action.
It will be appropriate to ask the members present to leave the room.
The 911 board quickly went into executive session this morning, meaning the public was no longer allowed to listen in. The explanation given, quote, likely or potential litigation.
We hope everything is corrected to where we do not have to go into litigation.
But what needs to be corrected, 911 Center Director Gary Tanner wouldn't say. In recent weeks, Local 15 News has exposed major issues from the bid itself. A letter I have obtained shows another company wanted to bid on this project to a private antenna placed on a 911 public tower.
No one that I know of knew that they had revenue coming from that tower.
To radios worth millions that have just sat in a warehouse unused for 2 years.
I have not gotten any straight answers.
It's are some concerns that every I wasn't dotted and every T was not crossed.
And because of that, today 911 put the squelch on the entire project.
From a legal standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, there's just some things that don't add up.
Thus far, nearly 2 years into this $40 million deal, $12.2 million of your tax dollars have been spent. When asked if this massive emergency communications overhaul would possibly have to be rebid and start over, Tanner replied,
Yes, it could be that we would start over.
Also today, the board moved to increase spending from $5,000 to $15,000 on an independent review panel that it asked to audit this project. That panel of 6 includes 2 retired FBI agents.
Sir bought as much as $5 million worth of equipment it did not need.
The purchase just a part of a $40 million contract Local 15 News has been investigating for weeks. Work on the project abruptly stopped Tuesday, just days after we exposed the bidding process may have been illegal.
Local 15's Andrea Ramey has led our coverage and is now investigating if millions have been wasted in tonight's reality check.
Mobile County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
If you're in trouble, you want the closest possible first responder to help. Right now, the Mobile County Sheriff's Office depends on cell service to track where deputies are.
You do have areas where you lose cell phone signals.
And that can put people's lives at risk if the department can't tell where units are. But a program called Open Sky promised to change all of that by using a much more reliable
radio signal. And in 2013, Mobile County 911 decided to spend $5 million on the system.
We have since discovered that the Open Sky is 1999 technology and that it's antiquated.
Obsolete.
We were on the
You paid $5 million for an obsolete program.
$5 million for something that's useless to us.
How does that happen? How do you order $5 million worth of software that you don't need?
It includes some radios, which all of it's going to be reduced.
The point is, how does that happen to begin with?
There were user meetings, and we became aware about 2 months ago, when we decided to take that out of the contract, that the last user was not going to use that.
911 Center Director Gary Tanner is adamant that agencies wanted Open Sky when the contract was signed in 2013.
I became aware that the Sheriff's Department was not going to have that technology about, as I indicated, 2 months ago.
But you thought when this contract was signed that they were going to use it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the Sheriff's Department want Open Sky?
After reviewing the system and the software, we were opposed to it because there were some concerns about the compatibility of that software with our existing equipment.
And the Sheriff's Office says it communicated its opposition to 911 before the deal was finalized.
Absolutely. You know, if you're looking into a system like that, that's one thing that should be looked at first. Is this going to be compatible with what we have?
Not the first department or users in Mobile County wanted it or could use it.
As we dug into it, our opinion was you really didn't need it.
Nick Tusa owns the consulting firm that was recently brought in to help the 911 Center. And had he not pointed out the issue to board members, Open Sky may have actually been installed.
It would have been built and it would have been there, but I don't think it would have gotten very much use.
Perhaps issues related to Open Sky should have been known well in advance. The program has plagued other public safety departments nationwide. Las Vegas, Palm Beach, Milwaukee, and Lancaster County, Pennsylvania have all had problems. In 2008, the state of New York demanded a refund and got it.
It's easy to spot. All you have to do is do a Google search on Open Sky and problems and you'll find them.
This was vendor driven. It's almost like the vendor came in and said, hey, y'all got $40 million. Let us help you spend it.
The purchase of Open Sky, among other issues, have now prompted board members to hire an independent review panel to make sure things were done properly and legally. That panel includes retired FBI agents.
It's time to clean this up and make damn sure it doesn't ever happen again.
Right now, the 911 Center and Tusa Consulting are working to get money spent on Open Sky refunded and are seeing to it that nothing in the future is spent on the program. Reporting in the newsroom, Andrea Ramey, Local 15 News.